Hi, I'm Jacqueline Hyman. This is my milestone 3 for my GPE course. So, first I want to apologize if it's extremely loud in here. I am recording in the Commons today because I could not find a better place to do it. Alrighty, so this is my game. I'm going to go through and show you all of the requirements and how I met them for milestone 3. So the first one is that the tank moves and shoots for milestone 1 and the AI still exists for milestone 2. So I'm going to go to that scene and just kind of show you. I have my player 1 here and my second player here, but that's for the next milestone. Okay, and then I'm just going to play from here. I don't know if it'll work because of it doesn't work. Because of the 4th milestone, which is, okay. So I'm going to actually play from the main menu, and I'll just do this in single player mode so you guys can see that I do still have my AI from milestone 2. So here is my AI from milestone 2. Super janky, not working very well. Awesome. Okay. So that is in there. I also have my map generated from random tiles, which is just instantiating them. So let me go and show you. So in my prefabs folder here under tiles, I have my prefabbed tiles. So each of these are tiles that you will see in the game. And then let me open up my script that instantiates these. So I have let me go to the right scene first. Okay, so in here I have a thing called map generator right here under my hierarchy. If I click on that, you'll see the script in the inspector. There we go. Couldn't think of the word. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and open this up so we can take a look at it. So first, let's go back and look at the inspector here. So you can see that I have my tile prefabs in an array, which is the size of 3, and then each of those is like horizontal, my T left, and then the T left 1, which is just a duplicated one, but it's actually different. So here, you'll see those here. So center horizontal, center left, center T left 1. So those are all in there. And then I have my number of columns and rows here so that designers can change them. And then also the tile width, so it can be changed. But this is actually the width of my tiles currently, so I'm going to leave those like that. I also have a level of the day. So if you click this, it'll spawn the level of the day, which we'll go through more later. I also have a spawner, which spawns the enemies. So that this is for that. The number of enemies is for that. Okay, so... And then I actually have all my data and everything I need to access on there as well. So I'm going to pull this back over and we're going to go through here. So, oops. Okay, let me just drag this out. All right. Cool. So this is my map generator script. I have all of my my variables up here. Right. So in start, I am going to check to see if the level of the day is true, which... if it is, it's going to get the month, day, and year and add it all together into an integer, and then set the seed to the date. Otherwise, it's just gonna use the seed from that the designer can put in. Okay, from there we're gonna create our map. So I have a grid, which is just a 2D array. And it has number of columns, number of rows. And we're going to loop through each of those to put down a room tile. And it just gets a random room, which is, down here, it just selects a random room. I'll explain that more later. So then it's going to add it to the array, and then we're going to move it into the position that we want it at in the world. We're going to name the tile, so that way if you're looking at it in the editor, it'll have a name and you'll know which tile it is. Then we're going to make the tile a child of like the tile's parent object. So that's just so it's organized well in the editor and you can find everything you need to. Then we're going to access our room script, which will just tells it which where the walls are, and it has like references to the walls of the room. Cool. So then what we're going to do is check to see where the tile's at in the world, and then remove a wall depending on where that is. So if it's, in the first column, it's going to open up all of the west walls. So, and if it is in, if it's not the last column, then it's going to open up all the east walls. If it's not the first row, it's going to open all of the north walls, and then if it's not in the last row, it's going to open up all the south walls. Okay, so that's kind of how that does that. And then we're going to add each map, each one to the map list, so we know which tiles are in the world. And then while the enemy count is less than 4, we're going to spawn an enemy, which is right here. So the map generator takes care of all that. So this random room here is a game object. So what it does is it picks a random number from like between 0 and however many prefab tiles there are. And then it returns which prefab tile to take. So, and then up here, it just is like, okay, cool. So then it just instantiates that return. Yeah, so that's how the map generator works. Cool. So then we have the array exposed to the designer. So I kind of showed that earlier, where you can set this to different. So we can like set this to 5, and it'll have a place for you to put in the prefabs. So right now it contains 3, and it could contain more if I wanted, but I only made the 3. So the map is adjustable by the designers, and the height is adjustable by the designers. So I showed you this before. So the number of columns, you can put 100 if you want. Number of rows, put like 5. And then when you go and play, it'll instantiate that length, and all of the all the walls will be open the correct way. It's pretty cool, huh? Cool. So I'm actually going to put those back to 3 and 3 just for now, because that is the minimum requirement, and that's kind of what I was using for testing. Just, I thought it would be easier. Cool. So we're going to set this to... oh, right. Okay. So I actually didn't do this, but we can do this really easy. Okay. So we're going to actually do it right now. In our map generator, in the start function, we are going to, well, first we're going to create a boolean. So we'll add public bool, and we'll call this random level. Okay. And what we want to do is, if this is true, which we'll put in start, so if random level, and we just want to get a random seed, right? So what we can do is say random dot init state, and then we'll say random dot range, and then we can set in some like minimums and maximums in here. So I switch to 0 and like 100,000. Right. Should be good enough for now. I wonder if you could actually do like random. Oops. Dot. Okay. And let's actually name this something else. So, okay, cool. So this should work. Oh, okay. So, I don't know. Whatever. I'll just take that on that one. So I actually didn't do that. Cool. Okay. So, but what I do have is, I do have level of the day. which I think is different. So I'll just go and show you how level of the day works. Cool. So, all right. So preset seed. Okay. So right now it's currently, you can set the seed to be whatever. Right now it's 0. I can put it into 100, right? Hit, start, and it'll be different than what it was before. So let's see. So if we just do like this, so that's 100, and then let's do like 101, right? So we did 100, 101, and you can see that this is actually going to be different. So let's go back out to the scene. All right, so there's 101. So we've got straight T, L, T, 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 L. So straight T, we'll remember that. And then let's just, put in like 20,000, 200,000, I guess. And then we can see that this is actually different. So instead of straight T, we've got L, straight L. So that gets, it just seeds it to whatever. Cool. And then next we have our random level. So like level of the day. So I kind of explained how that worked. It just takes the, it gets the system's day, time, and month, and it adds all of those numbers together to create the seed. So, and it will only create that seed if it is that day. So, level of the day. Oh, that one's not even level of the day. That one's random level because I changed everything. Okay, so level of the day, hit play. Right, and we've got LT straight. Okay, and then we'll do it again just to show you that it'll be the same because the seed has not changed. LT straight. Okay, there we go. And it'll only spawn a level on the day that it is. So it will not create that level ever again. Okay, so AIs and players spawn on random tiles. They're not set at level load. They're instantiated via code. Okay, so I did not do this for the players. The players were just set for level load. I did do this, however, for the enemies. I just hadn't gotten to the players yet. And I'm going to be fixing this when I go back and when I go back to redo everything and turn it in at the end of the semester. So let me show you our spawner. So here's my spawner. I have my enemies. There is 4 of them in there, and I have an enemy parent, and I have the scatter waypoints. So the enemies will get loaded into the level when it instantiates. So after on my map generator, let me see, at the end here it calls it says while enemy counts is less than 4. So there's a in the game manager there is a list of enemies which when they get instantiated will get added to. So this says, hey, spawn an enemy, and then it's actually using a function that I created from the spawner to do that. So we're gonna go over to the spawner. Okay, so here's my function called spawn enemy. So in here I have it get a random waypoint. So it's just getting a random room from the map list, right? And then from that it's getting the room component, because inside there I do have a list of waypoints. So for that room it's getting the room waypoints that are on it, and then it is getting a random waypoint from that room, and then I am seeing what the I'm getting what the random waypoint is. So I'm getting, okay, so for ship number here, this is confusing because it's no longer ships. I'm getting which enemy it is that got spawned, like that's getting spawned. So from before in the other one, in my map generator, I'm sorry, I am getting an enemy, a random enemy to spawn, And this is just returning a number, its index number. So, so this is taking that index number, and it's saying, okay, so if it's 0, it's Blake. So Blake is our red AI. And it says if he, so if enemies does not already contain it, then instantiate Blake at the random waypoint that we picked from above. We're going to parent him to the enemy's parent. We're going to instantiate his scatter waypoint. And we're going to set his scatter waypoint to the one that we just instantiated. And then for each waypoint in the random room waypoints, we are going to add it to his patrol points. And all right, and then we're going to set its current patrol point to the first patrol point in the list, and then we're going to add him to the enemies, and then we're break. And it does this for each type, so it just goes through and it continues to add. It continues to be like, hey, I want to instantiate this enemy, and if it's already there inside that list, it's not going to do it. It's going to skip it and pick a new number, and it's going to keep trying until it gets them all. Which, because there's only 4, it should go through pretty fast, but it does that for each one. So if it's not already in the enemies list, then we're going to instantiate it, parent it, instantiate its scatter waypoint, set his scatter waypoint, and then we're going to add the waypoints to patrol list and do that for each one. So, okay. Cool beans. So, we're going to do power-ups. So I actually haven't done power-ups yet. It's not that it's difficult. It's that I just haven't had really the chance, and I just kind of wanted to turn this in so I could get some points for it. But I'm going to come back to it. For my final, it's going to be in there, and then I'm going to resubmit when I'm done. I'm just running out of time, and I need to get some points. And, I'm not really proud of that, but it's what's happened, and I've learned, from it. So I'm just going to move on and try to do the best I can. Cool. So the game manager exists as a singleton. So let me show you the game manager. So we'll go here, and the game manager only exists in my first scene. So in my main menu scene, here's my game manager. It is a singleton because it will carry over to the other scenes, because on awake, it's checking to see if the instance is null. If it is, then I hate this. What happened? Else if... Oops. I'm sorry. I, don't normally do this like this, but apparently I felt like I needed to. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I like the brackets. I really just don't like the not brackets. I don't even know why I did that. Okay. Anyway, so on awake, you'll check to see if the instance is null. If it is, it's going to set instance to this instance. And then if it's not, then we're going to say that the instance is not this one and destroy that instance. And then we're going to say don't destroy onload. So if we reload a scene, it's not going to destroy it. It's going to carry over. Okay, so I've showed you that it is a singleton. From here, I have a bunch of stuff about the players and enemies. So I have a list of the enemies, and then I have some of... So, if it's single player or if it's multiplayer, I have booleans for that, which is for the next one. So, a lot of this is for the next one, but so I have that. And then down here, it's mostly just for, the next one. Okay, so I don't really, it's a singleton. It's got some stuff in it. It doesn't have my power-up spawned, but at some point it will. So I like players, game object, and then, so we could even just do this, and then we could get rid of some of the stuff down below, but, and then eventually we'll be adding the power-ups, so, and then I'm just going to call this one, power-ups. Okay. And then that's where all my power-ups will go once I do that. Cool. So, I want to show you that I am bug-free, and a lot of this depends on how I run. So if I run from the main menu, it will be error-free, but if I run from the middle scene, like the main game scene, it will actually have errors because it's not getting the game manager, because the game manager isn't there until after the level is loaded. So we're going to clear this and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm on main menu. So if I already have an error. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. This is giving me an error because I have not put in the text yet. So I can just do this because it's updating it every frame. So it's going to be like, you don't have any text. So it can't actually access this because it's not in this scene. It's in the next scene. So I'm just going to comment that out, especially since it has nothing to do with the current milestone I'm on. Okay, so here we go. So now I will load this. No errors. Go to the hell. Let me just check stuff real quick. I don't know why it's not working. I think I just froze Unity. Awesome. I don't know why. It's so weird. Yeah, that's so random. Okay, I'm just going to Control-Delete real quick. And we're going to close Unity. I'll reopen it and then we'll kind of start over and show you that it's bug and error free. In the meantime, I can show you that I've commented. So let's see. Okay, so here is my input controller. So this is all relevant to what we're doing. My spawner is relevant. So here I've commented like what's happening. My map generator. So here's stuff. My game manager has some comments up here in the singleton area. I haven't yet commented out all of my stuff for my next milestone. The field of view script is commented. The pawn data is not commented, but a lot of the stuff is for the next milestone, so I can do that before then. Yeah, so that's everything for that. Cool beans. So everything's commented, and then I can show you my project organization. It's pretty organized. Let me open up Unity real quick, and I'll show you what I mean there. Okay, here we go. So here's my project. I have art, prefab, scene, and scripts. Inside my art, I have materials and a models folder. These are all of the models that I'm currently using. And then my materials are all the materials that I'm currently using on those objects. And then here in my prefabs, I have just, some prefabs, but then I have my tile prefabs, and then my tank prefabs. Under there I have player, and then I have AI. Okay. And then go back to scenes, and here you'll find all the scenes that I'm using and scripts. These are all my scripts. So these are just, general scripts. I could probably organize them a bit better into folders, but I'm currently just leaving them like that. I have my editor scripts, so this actually, when you're in scene view, this is what draws the circles that shows you the field of view for, here I have my camera controller, which is how the camera falls around the player. And then in here I have all my AI controllers. Cool. So that is my project. Okay, well, thank you so much. And I'll see you next time.